C8 Technologies Continuous Application Insight, or CAI, is an agent-based technology that provides diagnostic-level information about your application's activities under the covers. While this provides several different types of benefit to an organization, in this segment, we're going to demonstrate how it can be used to create a virtual service that can then be consumed by a calling application. Here in the Dev Test portal, I'm going to go to the Application Insight subtab and click on Analyze Transactions. And we will see some activity for this application here, which is a Java Swing client. Now, the last operation it executed was this list users command. And if I click on this little folder icon, I can get an idea of exactly what it was doing under the covers. And you can see I have two agents, one for the client side and one for the server side. And in here you can see the types of operations defined by the icon that is being used. So this is some client-side activity, as well as a web service call. That's a bar of soap. And then an EJB instantiation and some SQL activity. Now, if I click on one of these icons, I can start to see additional information down below. So things like what's the request that was coming in, what's the appropriate response, or what was the response that was sent back, and so on and so forth. And many companies will probably tell you that web services are pretty easy to be able to virtualize, and so there's no need for technology such as CAI. So let's do something a little more difficult. I'm going to virtualize this EJB method called list users on the EJB3 user control bean. And so I simply right-click on this, put this particular transaction on our little bookshelf concept, and then once I have captured one or more of those transactions, I can create a virtual service based on all of the transactions on my bookshelf. So here I display the contents of the shelf here, and if I would like to create a virtual service, it's as simple as clicking on the Create VS button. This shows me the agent that was actually involved in this particular transaction. I can show you all of the agents that I have used over the times that I have executed this application. And if that ends up providing more information than is useful, I can click on the eyeball icon to show me exactly which one is the agent that I am referring to here with this transaction. Once I have confirmed that everything is acceptable, I click on the Create button. It asks me what project I'd like to save this virtual service in, what's the prefix of the virtual service that's going to be created, and what's the disposition of the transactions that I have previously put on the shelf. So I'm simply going to create the virtual service and delete everything off of the shelf, and then close this icon. Now if I open up my Manage subtab and take a look at the virtual services that have been created, I can see one from a previous demonstration that I have already given, as well as the EJB virtual service that I have just created. Looking down below, you can see there were no arguments that were passed to this particular method, and here is the response that was sent back as a result. Now bear in mind, my application is still running. So even without stopping it, if I were to go find, let's say, Lisa Simpson, and modify her name to be, say, Bart Simpson, and I can deploy that virtual service with the name change, simply accept the defaults, confirm that it's running here. There's the web service that or the virtual service rather, that we just created. I can simply refresh this, and looking down below, we can see that Lisa Simpson's name is now Bart Simpson. Intercepting and modifying the responses of EJB methods is not a trivial matter, traditionally speaking. However, with technologies such as Continuous Application Insight, you can very easily control the responses being sent back to ensure that you are able to provide whatever responses are necessary for you to adequately test your client application. If you're more interested in seeing this technology in use, contact your CA, DevOps, sales specialist for more in-depth discussion and a demonstration of CAI.